Hello, how
How
are
are you?
you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
I'm great. It's a sunny Tuesday. I'm on the couch with my assistant, Archie.
Oh, awesome. I
Uh,
am
Everything's good here.
so good. Well, first things first, I do want to ask, do you prefer to go by David or DAGL?
Let's do DAGL. DAGL's my
Dag.
sort of nom de plume on stage, and let's do that.
So good. All right. Well, for all those who are tuning in, DAGL is the head writer and resident game master of Twenty-Sided Tavern, and we have some questions already coming in about what's the show about. It is not a musical, but it's a very fun show, and we'll get talking all about it. It'll be a good time. I want to start off though to get to know you a little bit more. So I have a few fun rapid fire questions if that sounds good to you.
Sounds great.
What is your favorite TV show at the moment?
Oh no. My favorite TV show at the moment, I just binged season one of Only Murders in the Building. I'm very late to that, but I just watched that. But my actual favorite TV show, as people who know me know, is NBC's The Blacklist.
So good, so good. And I saw on your Instagram you watch shows and movies and you love to review them, which is so fantastic. And in your most recent, you shared that Shang-Chi was next up on your list. Did you get a chance to watch that?
I did. Shang-Chi is coming out. I just did Shang-Chi and the Eternals. I'm watching through the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe in chronological order for some reason. I don't know why I set myself this task over COVID, but I'm nearly there. Once She-Hulk gets released, I've sort of got a plan through November to have caught up and have seen all of them. So
So good, so good. All right. What is the last theatrical show that you saw?
the last show that I saw, well, I just came back from the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, so I saw a lot of wacky stuff there. And I think the last show that I saw there was it Mr. Thing? I think it was Mr. Thing. It was like a late night Fringe show that was a live sort of TV show, and they actually brought me on stage, and I got to talk about the Twenty-Sided Tavern and D&D and all my favorite stuff. And then they all sang a song while waving flags about the fact that they weren't actually listening to me while they were interviewing me. Oh, I missed that. I was listening.
What is your go-to comfort food?
My go-to comfort food um, is buffalo chicken dip.
That's a solid, yeah, that's a
It
solid.
comforts me, probably only in the moment, not afterward. But that is a real comfort. I mean, put buffalo sauce on anything, and I'm there.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, and then now the show is coming to Chicago. What are you most looking forward to being in Chicago?
I'm looking forward to a brutal Chicago winter. I can't wait. I've only been to Chicago once, and it was in the winter. That's not true. I've been to Chicago once in January, and then I went to come and look at the theater twice in the middle of a heat wave. So I've only seen Chicago in extremes. But I'm really excited to just wander around and find things to do and places to be, to find a place to figure out what my regular is and order my regular, and yeah, it should be fun.
So good. Well, I might be biased, but Chicago really is an amazing city. I think it's one of the best. So for all of those who are watching, if you have recommendations for DAGL for Chicago,
Please give me recommendations. I want to go. I want to do. I want to see.
so good. Well, okay, I want to start at the very beginning. How did Twenty-Sided Tavern come about?
So the Twenty-Sided Tavern really predates itself. In 2019, I was sort of cooking up a live D&D-esque experience. I had seen and consumed a lot of actual play D&D experiences, whether that's podcasts or live shows, and a lot of it, and they're all great and people love them, and it's watching people play D&D. And I was sort of going, what if we take the next step? What if instead of just watching people play, what if we get the audience involved? And so I actually was brainstorming a show that was originally pitched as a live action role-playing drinking game, and it had a bunch of rules and a bunch of if this happens, take a shot. And it was probably going to be way too rowdy and get shut down. So when the pandemic happened, I started writing online for a company called Seize the Show, which was using Gamiotics, which is the technology that our show uses. And one of my co-creators, Sarah Reynolds, she had a D&D show that she wanted to pitch, and I was kind of like, all right, let me I'll work on that with you. And then I've also got my own D&D thing. So we'll see how this goes. And once we saw that it was really taking off, we all just sort of combined elements and went, all right, this is it. Let's put our eggs in this basket and make the 20-sided tavern.
Good. Well, you kind of explained it a little bit, but to get into a little bit more details, how can we best understand the show? Someone commented before, is this a musical? No, this is not a musical, but a show where the audience, participates. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's not a musical, but there could be music. I mean, there could be anything. That's the joy of it, is it's so unpredictable and so different every night. So it's a live action role playing game. It is functionally similar to, but legally distinct from Dungeons and Dragons, we like to say. And over the course of the show, the audience will be using their phones to vote in elections, to decide where our characters go, what they do. They'll be rolling dice. Our players will be rolling dice, but we also have a big die that we bring on stage for audience members to roll, and they'll just be helping us tell this story and helping us get through this fantasy adventure with swords and sorcery and maybe a dragon, maybe a dungeon, who knows. It's one of a kind. It's a lot of fun, and the joy of it, the great joy of it, is that you don't have to know anything about it. We teach you as we go. You might walk into the space having never played Dungeons and Dragons, having never played a game, and by the time you walk out, you'll know how to play the 20-sided tavern game, and you'll be a hero. So
good. All right. For all those who are thinking to themselves, am I going to get called up on stage for this? Is that something that happens during the show? Should the audience be on the lookout for that?
only if you want to. That's another great joy of the way that we do this, right? So everyone has the opportunity to interact in the way that they want to. Since you're interacting on your phone, you could sit in the back of the house and vote on your phone and cheer and clap and have a great time from the shadows the entire time. Or if you want to run up on stage, there are opportunities for that, to come up and take a shot, to roll a die, to play a game. Maybe you'll play some fantasy beer pong. There's always opportunities for people to shout out names, to name some of the other characters in the play. So lots of opportunities to get involved if you want to, but no need.
Absolutely. Now we get a lot of people asking, can I bring my kids to this? Now this is, an adventure for all ages, right?
That's true. One of the joys of how much of this is made up on the spot is that we can really go with the audience, and we can really react to who's in the crowd, right? We're not just telling a story for a blank slate. We're telling it for the people who are there that night. So if we see that there is a group of 7 or 8 year olds in the front row, we're probably going to pull back on some jokes. But if we also know that, it's 500 of our rowdiest adult friends on a Saturday night late show, we're going to lean into that too.
Absolutely. Well, you just mentioned that's the beauty of the show, is that it never is the same thing again twice. You can come show after show after show, do a 2-show day every day.
Oh yeah. Oh, and we've seen that before. We've had people who have joined us, have seen one show and stayed and got tickets for the next show and spent the whole day with us.
So fun. So now you just finished up a really fantastic stint at the Edinburgh Fringe. Can you tell us how that went?
Edinburgh was wild. I'd been to Edinburgh, but never to the Fringe before, and I didn't really know what to expect. But we had a show every day for essentially 28 straight days. We had one day off in the middle there, and every day we would get up and we would go out and promote the show, and then we would have 10 minutes to set it up, and then we would do the show, which was only an hour in Edinburgh, and then have 10 minutes to break it down. And then we would go and try to get some sleep or, explore Edinburgh. And it was unlike anything I've ever done before. I met so many artists that I love and have such great respect for, and I made some new friends. And it was a really great time.
So this show has truly grown from Pittsburgh to across the sea, or across the ocean, I should say. And one of your fans of the show is Neil Patrick Harris. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, that was the funny thing in the beginning was, so I just looked into one day, I played D&D with his kids. I dungeon master for his kids and some other kids their age, and was sort of like talking about the show one day, and he was like, that's really interesting. Let's talk about it. And it was actually like March 2019 that he and I were sitting in Harlem having margaritas and nachos. And he was like, I would really like to be involved in this show. And then the world shut down. So he's gotten busy on his own time, and he's still involved and attached, and we still text, and like he, included us in his newsletter that he does every week, which is about stuff that he loves. And yeah, he loves D&D and loves magic, and it's so funny how many like big name celebrities there are that genuinely love this nerdy niche little thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, so for your roles in the show, well, first of all, you are the co-creator of this show, head writer and resident game master. For those folks who aren't too familiar with those terms, what does resident game master mean?
So as the game master, I'm the luckiest person on stage because I have a script in front of me for most of the time. There's some pages that I also have to memorize, but for the most part, I am the one telling the story. I've created the world, and I am walking us through the consequences of our actions, right? I lay in front of you the paths. Do we want to go this way or this way? And then when the audience decides and when the players decide where they want to go, how they want to tackle problems, I let them know when they are successful, when they fail, and what that means. I work in tandem with, as I mentioned before, Sarah, who is our tavern keeper on stage, and she is sort of the rules arbitrator. She dictates this is a success, and then I get to say what that means. So I have a lot of like storytelling control and a lot of just creative control to say, oh, you wanted to, kick this bandit in the head and you did a really bad job at it. I'm going to tell you exactly how embarrassing your attempt was.
So good, so good. Alrighty, when folks come to the show, what do you hope they leave with? What type of feelings do you want them to?
I don't want to spoil anything because I actually say really specifically in the script what I hope they walk away with. But to summarize, I think what I hope that people walk away with is the sense of being a hero. The story that we tell is literally never the same twice. And I feel like so many properties can claim that. And it may be true, but the reality is for us, like every single individual in that audience is a part of the story. Whether you shouted out a name, whether you got on stage, whether you voted, whether you didn't vote, right? Your presence there changes the story that we tell. It literally can't be the same without you. And that's the feeling that I want people to walk away with is this story wouldn't be the same without you.
So, well, we're nearing the end of our time, but is there anything else that, we haven't chatted about that you think is important for people to know about you or about the show that's coming?
Come in costume if you have it and you like it. Be brave about it. We get questions about it all the time, and we love to see it, whether it's just a pair of ears or, we've seen people in full chainmail before. We've seen people in non-fantasy stuff, like people have come in a Charmander onesie or a Star Trek uniform. Leave weapons at home, be respectful of everybody's space and stuff. But in terms of like this is such a beautiful community to come and just revel in nerddom with. So I hope people come with that attitude.
DAGL, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I said DAGL. Thank you.
That's fine. Regionalism, no worries.
So much for joining today. For all who are watching, the Twenty-Sided Tavern is coming to the Broadway Playhouse October 27th through January 15th. So lots of time to come again, come 20 times, come the whole holiday season. Get your tickets at broadwayinchicago.com. It's going to be a really great time. And like DAGL was saying, even if you aren't familiar with D&D or role-playing games, this is still a show that you can come and enjoy, and it's a really great time. So I hope to see you all there. Bring this perfect date night, bring a whole friend group, bring the family. It's going to be really awesome. So DAGL, thank you so much, and we can't wait to have you in Chicago.
Thank you. See you soon.
See you
Bye,
soon.
Archie. Bye.